Oh, just a second.
Hello and welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined by Sam. Double game week 37, Sam. We're almost there. And I mean, you
Penultimate
must have
game
had
week.
big words, penultimate, on the eve of the end of the season. Relegation's almost done. Title still up in the air. Europe almost done. And you must be feeling very good, Sam, because obviously I'm sure you captained Haaland for his 100-point haul last week, as I did.
I don't have Haaland. For those of you who don't know, I still think I did a pretty decent though. Like almost everyone in my entire team returned, but just the fact that I did not have Haaland just meant a big red arrow for me. Finished with like 75 points or something like that. Most people have Haaland ended up with 100 plus. So yeah. However, you got to factor in, unless you got Haaland this week itself, then hats off to you. But hats off to you, Siva. Good job. Yeah. Will I be getting Haaland in this week? Let's see throughout this pod.
Okay. That's my gloating done. Let's move on. Yes, a lot of people had full houses this week. I also had my entire team scored the most points. But even then, like you say, if you missed out on one guy, you missed out on Haaland, it wasn't going to be enough. So with that in mind, we come into double game week 37. As Sam and I have famously noted, we are out of chips. So
no, I
unlike
have triple captain. Siva Ram. I have my triple captain. And what a week! What a week to have it,
Okay, I forgot about that. That's quite annoying. Okay, I thought you were in this with me. So okay, everyone else has bench boost, and you've got triple captain. So that's gonna make my week a bit more difficult. So, but since you
This
have
was always my plan, by the way, because I did not triple captain on the week people triple captained, and I used my bench boost in some useless week. I can't remember what it was. Got me like barely anything. So I always knew I would have to save my triple captain trip for the week where everyone is gonna bench boost. That's the only way I could like keep pace, I think.
So since you have triple captain, Sam, and you're in a position where you're kind of chasing and you're going for the juggler right now. You're not looking to protect rank per se.
Yeah.
I think we can talk captaincy right now. Let's address
Right
it
now,
right here.
no, that's like at the
Right
end.
now, no,
Siva.
let's
talk about the players
flip it.
first. Let's talk about the players first, and then go to the captaincy.
No. Let's flip it, because I think it's interesting here, because I think that informs what kind of players you pick, because we've all seen the template team, right? I've seen it so many times I can read it out to you now, because it's Andy's team basically.
Give me the template
It's
team,
Andy's
Siva.
team. Everybody just follows Andy these days because they're boring and basic. So they have Haaland, Isaac, Jackson. They have Foden, Palmer, Son. Some have KDB if they're a bit more adventurous. Others
Gordon?
may have Gordon. Yes, that's the one I was remembering. Yes, Gordon. So Gordon would be the other one. And then some, as their fifth mid, might have a Bruno or a KDB, but not many people are that adventurous. And then in defense, they have Gvardiol plus some injured guys. That seems to be the theme of most people who want to bench boost this week. And that's basically the team. Everybody has Petrovic, right? So that's kind of the template.
Okay. Now, I would say I'm kind of close to the template. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, see, that's disappointing, right? You don't want to be close to this template, because I'm about to tell you why this template isn't that good.
Tell me,
as
Siva.
we've seen.
Hit me.
Okay, so let's talk about Haaland, right? We'll come back to, because it kind of informs your captaincy pick. Obviously, Haaland seems like a very obvious pick this week. You notice Haaland comes back into the team, and automatically all the City mids become kind of useless. Foden had, 1 assist from 5 goals. KDB had nothing, and also 0.03 XG. So standard KDB, looks very nice, but he's not worth any of the money you're paying for him. And
so okay, never mind. Continue.
Yeah, so coming back to captaincy, right? Given that Haaland just smashed a team and scored 4 goals, and probably could have scored more if he wasn't taken off, do you even dare to not have Haaland this week?
I dare.
Then
I dare, Siva.
On what? I mean, on what basis? Like, you've got
two things. I think it is not the I recognize that it's not the smart move to make. But at a
Fair.
point where I am, I'm having a really terrible season, by the way, for those of you who do not know. Terrible season. My worst season since the very first time we played FPL, in which I joined like in the middle, like in game week 3 or 4 or something like that, Extremely bad. The two ways you could play this, right? You could like, okay, I'm gonna aim for as high as I can. And then make the smart moves and try and slowly move up. It's kind of boring to me. So I'm just gonna go all in kind of thing. Which is why I am quite disappointed that my team is very template. But I guess you got no choice because there's only so few teams with a double, right? But anyway, I would think a lot of people have Haaland and a lot of people will captain Haaland. So I have to bet against that. Bet against the house. That's the only way I can make up ground. So no Haaland for me. That's one. The other two is just sunk cost fallacy. It's a fallacy, but I am admitting to it. I'm like, I went 1 week without Haaland's Hall. I'm not gonna get him in for the rest of the season. Like, I've made my bid to go Haalandless, and I'm a lie in it.
Okay, so to you, it's like a sunken cost truth. It's not really a fallacy.
I mean, I recognize it's a fallacy, but I'm all in this fallacy.
I'm guessing you weren't the best econ student, Sam. But
I didn't take econs.
Okay, but for normal people, they'll have Haaland, right? So normal people who are chasing, let's try and target audience is generally normal dudes. So and women, of course. So normal people who are chasing and who have Haaland. A lot of people didn't cap Haaland this week, by the way, right? So a lot of people kept
Really?
Palmer, Salah. People who are chasing, right? Because we're all kind of in that zone now. We are going for it, and we are trying to take a couple of calculated risks. So a lot of people did not cap Haaland this week, tried to be brave, and it didn't go too badly because, I mean, yeah, Haaland did well, but so did Salah, did pretty decently. Some other guys did okay. This week in the double,
I captain
do
Son, by the
you...
way.
Okay, so
no, not
one
Son, sorry.
return,
I captain Saka. Which with
10
10 points.
pointer.
So
Yeah.
if you have Haaland, but don't captain him and captain someone else, the difference is not that big. If you
Yeah.
don't have Haaland at all, that's when you're screwed, which is what I was.
Yeah. So, like I said, you'll come back for the normal people, right? Well, I think your captaincy pick will tell us who is the alternative captaincy pick instead of Haaland.
I don't know actually. That's a whole discussion in itself. So I think we can get there like later on.
So we'll organically get there by the end of this, right?
Yeah, because as we discuss each asset, each of them will have their own case, I guess, to be a captain.
All right. So let's back it up and go by positions then, I guess, right? Let's start off with the back line, because whilst I don't really care because all my defenders are healthy, I need to sympathize with all the bench boosters who have loaded up on Maguire and Gusto and Poro.
Is Petrovic really the best keeper to have this week?
No, he's not.
Really?
He is not the best keeper to have this week. In fact, I would argue that Petrovic is one of the worst assets in the game because Petrovic stops you from having the best Chelsea triple up. And you, Sam, I'm sure know what the best Chelsea triple up is.
Madueke, Palmer, and I don't know, Mudryk?
Jackson, buddy. How did you?
Yeah. I know it's Jackson. I was just joking.
Yeah. So, I mean, I looked at Sam and I in a mini league with a bunch of our friends, right? And I had a look. I'm at that stage of the season. I normally don't care what other people are doing, but now we're coming in. I do want to sort of strategize a bit. And I just had a look. And the 5 guys I'm chasing were probably about 10 to 20 points ahead, give or take. All have Petrovic, Palmer, and Jackson.
By the way, Siva, you're having a really good season. I have to say, at one point you dropped kind of mid, but since then you've been making good decisions every week and fighting your way up. So I'm just gonna congratulate you for your second half of the season.
Yeah, I always have bad first halves and then come back in the second half. So, and will happen again next season. But as somebody who's chasing, and I suspect most of the people who are listening to this are chasing, because if you're protecting rank, you just you just follow Andy's stream and do whatever he does, right? So, because
if you're not chasing, you won't even bother listening to podcasts. You're like, I got this FPL shit down. I don't need to listen to advice. The only people who are listening are people who are like, I don't know what to do to catch up. I need to
I
listen
don't.
to some people
I,
online.
I'm pretty sure, given that you don't own Haaland, people at this point are just listening to take some sort of like vicarious kind of pleasure in your pain. But I mean, but it's all therapeutic either way. But so coming back to this, and I think a lot of people, if you look in your mini league, you can go to FPL Game Week, which is a pretty decent website. We're not sponsored, so that's from here, and that tells you ownership of all the players in your mini league, like who has them. And so when I
Mhm.
look today, everybody in our mini league is so boring. They all have Petrovic, Palmer, and Jackson because they have no creativity, they have no imagination, and so they are locked out of Madueke, and they are locked out of the best Chelsea asset in the game. So no, Petrovic isn't the best asset. And if you don't have Petrovic, don't get him this week. Go get Madueke.
Okay. Okay. We'll get to midfielders later. So who would you suggest someone to have as their keeper if, let's say, they were to be wildcarding this week?
I I think I mean no one's I mean I'd be stunned if anybody's wildcarding this week. But I think
If
what's
yeah.
more likely, people are making transfers because a lot of people are already loaded up on their doublers. I think
Mhm.
if you're making a transfer this week, you need a doubling keeper. Like I said, I wouldn't go Chelsea. You can't really go. Could you go Spurs? Vicario would get a lot of save points, to be fair. Although
You
it's
got a clean sheet chance against Burnley at home, I guess. A chance. Although Spurs have not been keeping clean sheets at all. We're almost at the end of the
I mean
season and they have kept, I'm gonna bring it up right
2 in
now. How many
26 or something stupid. Yeah.
yeah. Like in the entire season. How many clean sheets?
It's not.
Six clean sheets this season. That's like relegation team stats.
Yes, but they're playing two relegation teams, right? They're playing Burnley this week, and then
And
they play
City.
Sheffield United in 38.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, what are you on about? They're playing City.
No. So in fact, this is the perfect time. Spurs is this is gonna mess with your head, but I think now's the time to invest in Spurs. You accept that the
Um,
City game is just
I'm surprised you say that as an Arsenal fan, Siva. Because Spurs famously bottlers. I thought at the end of the season is when you don't want Spurs assets because that's when they bottle everything.
no. I think people, as an Arsenal fan, you must know your enemy, and I think Spurs have been, yes, pretty awful in the last 4 weeks. But who have they played? They've played Chelsea, they've played Liverpool, City, Arsenal. They've played all the best teams in the country and Chelsea. So
That's
I mean,
true. That's true. But
I
the
think
last clean sheet came against Villa in 28. In that time, they've played Fulham, Luton, West Ham, Forest.
it
Mhm.
bears repeating that Burnley and Sheffield United are by far the two worst teams in the league. And
Yeah, but
so
they didn't keep clean sheets against them the last time they played, by the way. I'm just going to point that out.
you can't. I mean, you can't. That's not how variance works, buddy. I mean, you can't.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Spurs keeper. Other than that, I really would like to have the Newcastle keeper, but
But
we don't know who it's going to be because it seems like
mm,
Pope is coming back. I think it
yeah,
might be Pope. Pope one game and Dubravka one game, so that's not ideal.
no, it's not.
I may be making a keeper transfer, Siva, because I have Raya in, and yeah. So maybe I will go your advice and go Vicario.
I think Vicario, especially if you need somebody for 38, I think he's a solid pick. But
You go for Onana.
no, how about no?
Fourth highest scoring keeper in the game, by the way.
Sure, yeah, but no. I mean, just no. You can't tell me on
There's
that.
lots of
United
saves.
have an awful double.
Yes, he makes lots
Uh,
of saves though.
eh. I mean, people are gonna have Maguire going to the double. So what can I say?
Okay. Don't have Maguire is what I would say.
Hmm. Let's talk defenders, right? And we can skip Gvardiol because I think everybody who has watched City play over the last 4 weeks will tell you got to have Gvardiol. He's
Uh-huh.
become this marauding
The,
left back from out of nowhere.
the main guy, yeah.
But who's the other defender you have?
I have Brentford. I'm still gonna play him this week despite him not having a double because he's been amazingly good.
I have Brantwaite too. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. But I mean, let's talk doublers. Are there any double defender options?
I would like one Newcastle defender, whether it's the keeper or a defender. But the thing is, it's really, really hard because everyone seems to be injured. I had Shah. I brought Shah in like 2 weeks ago, and he got injured. So I was one of the unlucky ones. That's what you get for planning ahead, you know. So you got people like Hall who may lose his place because Trippier might be coming back for one of the games. And if Trippier come back, will Livra start? Will he get benched? Will Hall get benched? Will Livra move to the left back? There's so much uncertainty there. That's the tough
Anyway,
part.
Newcastle don't keep cleans, mate. So I mean, that's hardly a concern.
Yeah, I guess. Although I would say there is potential there. Home game against Brighton, away against United, both. Brighton supposedly on the beach, although they did beat Villa 1-0 last week. United famously very bad at football right now. So there is a chance, I would say. There is a chance.
Okay.
But mostly because there's just not many other options, I think. I have Gusto. I think I'm going to risk it. But I wouldn't recommend
He
a
ain't gonna
transfer
play, buddy.
on Gusto in. I don't know, man.
See. You that is sunken cost fallacy. Why do you even have Gusto? He ain't gonna
No,
play.
it's because I don't want to make a transfer to take him out. I feel it's not worth another -4 to take Gusto out because I think there's a good chance he plays one game. And the other options are not appealing. That's the problem, I think, Siva. Is that if there were like great options, if Trippier was confirmed fit, then okay, you could bring in Trippier. But there aren't. United defenders are shit. Spurs defenders, also not really good. City, you don't want to load up on City defenders because you want their attackers. Newcastle, Brighton. Are you going to get a Brighton defender this week? I don't think so. So there just is not many other options in defense.
Nah, there are plenty of options. I mean, you're just not opening your mind up to it.
Okay, open my mind, Siva, then. Come on.
Okay, we discussed Spurs, right? So again, people forget how quickly, but again, it's Burnley. I would say that's a near. Yeah, Porro and Van de Ven, I think both great picks. Van de Ven's definitely due a goal. Quite unlucky against Arsenal, so he's due a goal. Forest, it may interest you to hear this, but Forest have conceded 22 goals from set pieces. That's the most in a team since 2014. And so they're conceding a lot from set pieces. Chelsea got a lot of tall defenders.
Chelsea defender.
Yeah, so you see, Forest concede from corners and free kicks. They can't defend them. Chelsea have tall centre backs.
So
Benoit Badiashile. You got Benoit Badiashile and Trevor Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah is the more interesting one, I think, because
does he keep his spot though?
He's kind of forced his way in my opinion, in the last few weeks. This week they even pushed him to left back just to accommodate him, and they pushed Cucurella into midfield. Or some sort of weird inverted thing.
Is that what they did? Then who played right back this week? Disasi? No, Disasi didn't play. Who took Gusto's spot? I thought Chalobah was at right back.
Yes, you may have. Yes. I stand corrected. Yes, Chalobah was at right, and Cucurella was inverting on the left, and Badiashile and Thiago played together. I think I like a Chelsea defender. I mean, if you really want safety of starts, Cucurella I think is the safest for starts, but probably not for attacking returns. Cucurella's useful attribute is he's been moving into midfield now because Enzo is out for the season, and Poch has finally found a way to work it and basically stole an idea from Pep, right? So Cucurella goes into midfield, and he gives a lot more balance to the midfield. So if you want a Chelsea defender, I like Cucurella, and I think Chelsea get at least one clean. I think it's a good double. Forest and Brighton. Forest could be safe by the time they kick off because Luton and Burnley play before Forest play. So if Luton and Burnley don't win, Forest could mathematically be safe even before they've started their game, in which case they won't care.
Yeah, on the beach.
And as we've established, Brighton also geographically on the beach. A lot of people will say Brighton Chelsea is like a big game, but I don't think Brighton care anymore. I think that's in the past.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think if Potter was still there, then maybe, I think once Potter left, they're like, whatever.
I mean, yeah.
If Gusto is declared fit, if Poch comes out and says, yes, Gusto is fully fit, he will start, then would you go Gusto as a number one Chelsea defender?
Look, that's never going to happen. He's never going to say that. Your best case scenario is he will say Gusto's fit. He's never going to say Gusto's going to start. So I mean, if if United were a decent team, we could talk about
No,
hypotheticals all day
I'm
long.
just saying,
That we'll never
if
have.
Gusto is fit, is he your number one Chelsea pick?
I
Or
still
would you
don't.
still go for someone else over Gusto? Siva, are you there? Sorry, I think there was some connection issues. So the last
Yes, yes,
question I asked you was, if Gusto was fit, would you pick him as your number one Chelsea
I think
defender?
I think Gusto is fit. I wouldn't pick him simply because I'm pretty confident he won't start both games. Because they've been on a good run of form without him. So there's no, as good as he is, there's no reason to shoehorn him back into the team in the starting 11. I'd be surprised, very surprised if he starts against Forest. I think
Okay.
they would keep roughly the same backline. So I think, no, I think if I had to pick somebody for safety of starts, I'd go Cucurella. I think Cucurella is the one who will start. And if I wanted to be a bit more bold, I'd go Chalobah, but Chalobah's definitely a riskier pick.
Okay. All right. Aside from Chelsea, aside from Spurs, any other defenders?
No, I mean, you're not touching Brighton. I don't really care what people think about the Villa result. I think that had more to do with Villa just being really tired because they played, Olympiacos 2 days before that?
And then they play Olympiacos after that and got
Yeah.
smashed.
So, yeah. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to go near Brighton defender. Anybody else? No, I mean, Spurs we covered. City, we say Gvardiol. You're not going to have a second City defender. You want the attackers. And I mean, United, some people say you'd go for a different United defender, but I've got zero interest.
No, I wouldn't go for any United defender right now. Not against Arsenal and Newcastle. Two teams are really on form. So that's a no from me.
So let's, I mean, single game weekers, would you transfer in a single game week defender? That feels
No,
almost.
but if they have a good fixture like Brentford, for example, I don't mind playing him. Despite him not having a double. Like, I wouldn't transfer Brentford out for a team with two fixtures.
No, but that's the easy question, Sam. Would you transfer in Brantwaite this week? We
No.
both have him, but a lot of people will be thinking about that.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Two is more than one. I think we
What's
apply
the point
the.
of double gaming if you don't take advantage of it, right?
Pretty sure you said something else the last time we had a double game week and Bruno had a single, but attackers are different rules.
That's true. Yeah. Attackers different rules.
Okay. Let's talk midfield. Okay, I think midfield's really tough, especially if you're not on bench boost. I am struggling to pick 4 midfielders or even 5 that I'm.
Yeah, even five. Even if you're on bench boost, right? It is really tough to pick because you could just go for the easy method of I'm gonna pick the best midfielder possible from each doubling team. But then you would have the template team because the best midfielder from City will be Foden. Then you have Palmer, and then you have Son, and then you'll have Gordon. You know, that's like the template team already. So it's boring. Bruno, I guess, if you want a United attacker, and then that's it. That's the problem now, though. For people who prepared earlier, like me, this is my midfield. I mean, I still have Saka, so he'll probably go out this week for someone who doubles. But I have Palmer, I have Bruno, I have Gordon, I have Son. Saka is probably going to become Foden. And it's so boring. Like, that is the template. But are you going to risk going without any of them? It's really tough.
I mean, you're looking at it from you're risking going without a Foden or a Son or a.
No, but I think it's not even a risk in the sense that oh, their ownership is high. I think even objectively, if you know zero, if they have the same ownership as anyone else, you would still know like who is the best Chelsea attacker to have in the team. It has to be Palmer, right? Who is the best?
Yeah.
Now, do you want to double up or not? That is the question, right? But then you have to sacrifice elsewhere. So that is why this week I feel it's really interesting, and there's potentially a lot of gains for people who are bold because everyone is going to have the same players. But at the same time, if it doesn't turn out, then it's screwed.
All right, so let's try and rank them because we all know who the people are, right? Number 1 probably Palmer, right? Fair.
For the midfielders, yeah, Palmer.
Okay. Number 2. Now I'm guessing everyone else is going to say Foden.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Foden. I think that last week was just a one-off fluke. Haaland's not that good actually. He can't do that every week. So
I think with Haaland in the team, Foden's just going to be the key pass merchant as far as I'm
I don't
concerned.
know. You say that, right? But there were plenty of weeks before this where Haaland was in there and the defenders were marking him out, and that left a lot of space for Foden to do his thing. And that's why Foden has been scoring so much this season. Like if
Who
you were to take this whole season, last week was an anomaly because Haaland has not really been hauling so much this season. A goal here and there, yes. Hauls not as many as last season. And it seems like it's because a lot of defenders are occupied marking him, and that leaves a lot of gaps for other people like Foden.
and do
So
you think Fulham and Spurs are gonna pay special attention to Haaland? Because I think these are two defenses who will quite willingly give Haaland all the space he needs.
no, I mean they will try. I think they'll try. They'll try to mark Haaland. It's like, I don't know. I still have a lot of faith in Foden. I feel like last week was an anomaly compared to how it's been for most of this season when they've all played together.
I will just say, I mean, of course, part of me is gambling here, right? That's why I'm trying to sort of make a devil's advocate kind of case against Foden. But his haul against Brighton, Haaland didn't play. Hat-trick against Villa, Haaland didn't play. I'll grant you that there are other instances where Haaland has played. I think the most famous one is the Brentford hat-trick, I think, which Foden got. Haaland did play. And the haul against United, Haaland was playing. So it's not a foolproof rule, but I think if you had to take a risk,
No, I think what I'm
feel
saying is
like
that it's not that whether Haaland plays or don't plays for Foden. Like it seems equal. He hauls when Haaland play and he hauls when Haaland doesn't play. That's what I feel. I don't think
right.
Haaland negatively affects his point potential.
Okay, so we'll accept, by popular opinion, Foden being the second best pick in midfield. The third, I think, is more interesting because the third, now you're talking about Son, Richarlison, Gordon, Madueke, KDB, who a
Bruno.
lot of people, Bruno, Garnacho. Who is actually the third best pick?
Whew. Tough one.
Mm.
I want to say Bruno. Because prior to his rest last week, he was on a roll, 4 points, 18, 15, 9, 8. And then, you factor in the FA Cup performances. He's basically doing everything for the team. Bonus points off the charts as well every single week because he's really doing everything. Like even against Burnley, where United drew 1-1, he created something like 9 chances, still ended up with 2 bonus points despite blanking. Because the team were letting him down. So, and double game week Bruno, man, remember? Plus, this was the first time in his entire career that he missed a game from injury. Do you know that? Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
27? That's kind of insane. So, it's like his first rest in forever. Imagine a fully charged Bruno, man. A lot of people are selling him. I know, but I think you'll regret it. He will start. There's no way he's missing 2 games in a row, man. Impossible.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm with you that Bruno should play, and I'm with you that his form has been very good. But what I would counter to that is that I think United have, and we've discussed this before, United have the worst double of all the teams. They play two teams who are
I
in
wouldn't say the
much better
worst
form.
double though.
I mean, probably Brighton runs them close, but for my money, it's one of the worst doubles we have. They're not gonna. I would not be surprised to see Arsenal keep a clean sheet against United
At home
and
though. United at home.
the magic of Old Trafford doesn't really exist. I mean, the stadium's
Not this
falling
season.
apart,
Not
much
this
like the
season
team.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you're fresh off a week in which Sancho and Sabitzer have reached a Champions League final, while you're stuck with Amrabat and Anthony. So that alone has got to be bad for your morale. I don't see Bruno hauling against Arsenal. Even if you think Arsenal may concede, there's no way he's hauling. I stake
I don't
my
think it's
reputation
hauling,
on it.
but one goal, maybe. If we lose like 4-1 or something like that. And if one person from United is gonna score, I think your money will be on Bruno.
That's clutching at straws, mate. I mean, you're betting on a guy to get one goal in a 4-1 thrashing seems like a fairly sad gamble. And then against Newcastle, Newcastle have been a bit shaky in defense, but I would back
Especially
Newcastle.
away. Especially away, I think. That's one important
Okay,
point.
let's
For Newcastle, I think it really plays a difference. Like some teams, is maybe clutching at straws the whole home away thing. But for Newcastle, there is a very clear difference when they're home and when they're away.
I've heard a lot about this Newcastle home and away thing last week when people kept saying you can bench Gordon and Isaac because they never score away from home. And
Isak scores. No, that's a mistake. Gordon, yes. Gordon,
yeah,
yes. He always blanks away
and
from home.
Gordon
Is
got
that
an assist last
that
week,
was like his
and
only, but that was his like third attacking return away from home in the entire season.
would have had a fourth if Isaac put away the pen because he won the pen as well. Okay, this home and away stuff is only bad because they've played the good teams. They played Burnley, they did well. They're playing United, they're gonna haul it United as well.
Maybe.
Okay,
This is Isak. I think I have no comms about. I think Newcastle will still win. I think United is going to lose both games. But
yeah, United gonna
for
lose
both
both
of them
games.
to keep a clean sheet, I feel goals flowing, especially from Bruno. I have faith in my man.
I don't see it. I really don't. I mean, I would say Newcastle need to win, right? They're chasing Europe, and Arsenal need to win because
So
they're chasing.
is United, by the way.
I mean, look,
In case
y'all
you
lost
forgot.
4-0 to Palace, right? You lost 4-0 to
Yeah,
a team
but
with
we did.
nothing to play for.
Our starting centre backs are at retirement age. One of them is not even a centre back. He's a DM who is extremely slow. We had to play at centre back. The other guy came to United for just to up his fitness, and he's ended up playing a lot of games for us this season. We never intended to play Johnny Evans. It's one of those like, can I come and train with the club? Gave him a temporary contract so that he can train. And next thing you know, he's like our starting defender for a third of the season. Can you blame us for losing 4-0 against a very dynamic team, especially against a dynamic team with, Eze and Olise, who are, I think this is like probably one of the worst teams we could have played against with that defense. But even saying all that, I admit that we are bad. We are bad. United are bad. But can Bruno still score? In fact, he seems to do better. The worse we are, the better asset Bruno becomes.
I think Bruno would be fine in a week where United are playing two mid-table teams, because you're thinking about the goals against like Bournemouth and Coventry, and sure, Bruno can do something there. But when, as you said, right, they're playing Johnny Evans and Casemiro in defense, there's only so much one guy can do. This isn't a one man sport anymore. And I'm sure the fact that United are playing two senior citizens in defense kind of means that Bruno's going to have to do more work. He's going to have to track back because there's no Casemiro protection. That's going to make sure that he can't really get forward as much as he wants to. So no, I think I wouldn't put Bruno anywhere near third best midfielder this week. I wouldn't even have him in top 5.
Oh, which means if you were to wildcard this week, you wouldn't even have Bruno.
I don't have Bruno. I have no interest in getting Bruno. He's not even close to my thoughts.
No, but that's because you have to use a transfer. If you were to wildcard, so you had unlimited transfers, would you get Bruno this week?
You can give me a free hit, triple captain, bench boost, all attack, whatever chip you want to give me. I'm not picking Bruno.
All right. So who is your third best? Are you gonna say Noni Madueke?
I am going to say Noni Madueke, and I come back to my earlier point. I'm convinced that the only reason people don't have him is because they're stuck with their existing Chelsea triple up, because he's coming off a double-digit haul in the last double game week, another double-digit haul last week, and he could have scored. Like his pass to Jackson, his assist to Jackson is pure generosity. He's like, this guy needs my help, so I will pass him an open goal. Like he could have scored that himself.
Okay,
he's in great form. Chelsea got 2 excellent fixtures. No downside here.
I think it's fair because he has been really impressive, and I think a lot of us are kind of like, but Chelsea is kind of shit. But he's only quite recently cemented that spot, on the wings. And since he's actually been doing really well. I think he's undroppable now for Chelsea.
His competition
So,
Sterling, who's not really competition, is he? I mean, yes.
and who knows, maybe Palmer will be generous enough in one of the game weeks to actually give him one of the pens, and they don't have to fight over it. But yeah, I like
I mean,
it.
that's
I like
good.
it.
That's why I plan
Always,
to have Madueke and Jackson, because you got like a 33 and a third chance of maybe getting a pen.
that's true.
Maybe
That's
Palmer
true.
just says, "All right, you two, you have one."
And a good fixture at the end as well, because today they play Bournemouth at
Bournemouth.
home. So
Yeah, and Chelsea's home record, I think they've got the most goals scored at home in 2024.
mostly by Palmer, I would think.
Pretty much, but Madueke has been chipping in, so I think, for me,
Okay,
Madueke is
I
easily
like it.
third, if not second best.
And 0.8% picked. So I like this kind of pick, Siva. I love it.
This
I love it.
is, in fact, like this is like Semenyo in game week, double game week 28 or whatever it was. When I went in there, you gotta. How can you not have this guy in?
Okay, fair. So other than that, Gordon, Son still must-haves.
Gordon, sure, I like Gordon. I think Newcastle have got a good double. Son, if Son hadn't
Is Gordon
scored against Liverpool,
before we go there? Is Gordon the best Newcastle midfielder to have?
yeah, I mean, there's no questions here. Unfortunately, Barnes just isn't getting the minutes. So
I think a case could be made for Bruno G, who has 4 attacking returns in his last 5 game weeks. That's 3 goals, 1
chipping in.
assist. Yeah. I think there is a case that you can make for Bruno G as a differential.
You could. I mean, we also didn't really discuss Conor Gallagher, who's been ticking over. But yeah, I don't want to embarrass myself. So
Yeah, no. I think
wasn't.
if you're gonna get a second Chelsea mid, it has to be Noni, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Where were we? Spurs. Son still number 1 or Richarlison?
I think Richarlison's ahead of Son. Like I have Son only because I have Son. He's like a legacy transfer. Like he's been there
Already
for.
had. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
if I was
worth
doing
the
it this week, no way.
Okay.
I would. It's debatable, to be honest with you, as to whether it's worth the transfer out. I mean, it sounds pretty bad. I would
-4
say
out for Son. No, that's too much, I think.
it's only because they're playing Burnley and Sheffield United. Those are such bad teams that I'm willing to keep this guy. And I think Son's still first choice. No, he is first choice for pens. So hopefully Richarlison dives and we get something. But I think Spurs have been awful. I think they've checked out. And I'm worried about
they checked out for a team who still has a lot to play for. I'm surprised that they've checked out.
Do you know if we started the season, I think it's in from game week 11, Spurs would be 10th in the league. I think it's
so it's all like based on their first 10 games.
First 10 games, they took 26 points. And since then, they've been basically a mid-table team. And Postecoglou's, I was listening to an interview he did with Mark Schwarzer yesterday. And from the start of the season where he was all like, very Australian, they kept talking about Melbourne and Central Coast Mariners. I don't know why. But one thing I noticed was from the start of the season, Postecoglou was very positive. Mate, we don't need transfers. It's just got to put an arm around and we'll get these guys playing. Now he's changed his tune. He said, you can't expect me to do this in 2 transfer windows. I got to change the whole team. A lot of guys here don't believe in what we're doing. Mate, you can't just throw all these guys under the bus.
Yeah. I hear you. I think it's in a way, this is right. I think the players are maybe starting to feel it. His heavy pressing. I mean, we've seen it with Liverpool in the past and things like that. When you play a heavy pressing game like this, the team tends to feel a bit more sluggish towards the end of the season.
So I think, come back to who you have from Spurs. Richarlison's fine. I wouldn't be buying Son this week if I didn't have to.
Okay. Any case for single game week players?
No,
none of them.
Saka is the only one I'd consider because United are just that bad. But I wouldn't be buying these guys. You have them, sure, but you wouldn't be buying any of them.
Okay, fair. Forwards.
I mean, we didn't touch. We didn't speak about Kev.
Oh yeah, Kev. Kev's all right, I guess. Decent player.
Because it's
Very
interesting,
good.
right? I think back in the day, double game week, you told me City have these two fixtures. I would have jumped in triple attack. Yeah, sure. This time, I don't think Kev's even the third best City asset, and so I'm not
I
really
think
interested.
on one hand they don't have Champions League, so they can keep a more consistent team better than they have in last year because they reached the final, they won it. But that even then, they still have two games very close to each other, right? The turnaround is one game's on Saturday, the next one is on Tuesday. So it's just a few days apart. Can Kev even do it? Play two games very, very close. I'm not sure. They do have the FA Cup final coming up, huge game against a big rival. Huge challenge for them. But even then, I think
Sorry, I
even
took a while to process that.
even then, okay, even without anything else to play for, I don't know if Kev is just at that fitness level where he can physically do it. Because they both have talked a lot about it, Kevin De Bruyne saying that he can't play as many minutes as he used to. Pep also saying the same thing. I won't be surprised if they bench Kevin for one of the games. And you could say, it's really important. They have to win all the games. Come on, we all know Pep doesn't think like that. He would bench anyone because he has so much faith in his team, in his system, that he knows that even if he were to bench Kev, the team would still be good enough to beat, I don't know, Fulham or West Ham, Spurs, whoever it might be, right? And he has done it this season, benched important players in important games. I wouldn't really be surprised if that happens. Foden actually has played the most minutes out of every City player this season. So I think Foden is a lock. Haaland as well. I think physically they're just better suited or are more capable to play two games in a close turnaround. So yeah.
Yeah, I think even if Kev starts both, if they're winning, he's the first guy to come off. Like as we saw against Wolves, right? He came off with 10 minutes to go. If they're winning 3-0 against Fulham, he's coming off. Because he's that important. So I think, yeah, Kev's not really my priority. I just think he's too inconsistent. Too many games where he's obviously an excellent player, but just too many games where he may just end up playing DM. May get a haul, but it's just very debatable. And just with no security of minutes for me, or at least not enough, I wouldn't have him in my top 5. No.
Okay. Same.
So let's wrap up top 5 minutes, Sam. Okay. Palmer, Foden. Give me 3 more.
I'm gonna still be loyal to Bruno.
Well, yeah. It's nice to
So
see a
I'll put
United
Bruno.
fan that's loyal. Rare
But
occurrence.
at 4th, I will go Noni. I think if I had a spot for him, I would put him in my team. I just really don't. No, I don't have change. I can, but I would have to sacrifice either Palmer, Bruno, Gordon, or Son for a -4, which is I feel is a bit too much to take a -4 to take one of them out for Noni.
It's just 4 points, buddy. That's like what? That's like 2 starts, buddy. That's like an assist. Yeah.
But it's not only that. You have to even hope that the players you take out don't get any form of attacking returns at all in 2 games.
I wouldn't be too worried about that with Bruno, but yes. but
yeah.
Okay, but let's take Bruno as your third, Noni as your fourth, and who's your fifth?
Oh, tough. I would say Son.
Okay. I would say Richarlison, but for sure.
Okay, Spurs mid basically. Gordon just misses out. Although I'm happy having Gordon. I've had Gordon for a really long time this season, and I have zero complaints about him whatsoever.
My only issue with Gordon, still excellent asset. It's just I don't like Callum Wilson coming into the team. I think that really doesn't help Gordon. Because it forces Gordon to do other things. Because Wilson comes in, so Isak moves to the wing. Gordon's got to move to the right. It's annoying.
That's true.
But even then, Gordon's still excellent asset. I mean, I would have Gordon actually ahead of the Spurs guys, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Okay. Let's move on to forwards.
We could do this in 2 seconds, right?
You give me another forward that is not Haaland or Jackson. Isak has to be there.
Isak. Yeah, so
Isak has to be
Haaland,
there.
Isak, Jackson. That's it.
Okay, what if I
You're
don't
done.
want Haaland or Jackson? I need someone else to partner. I'm telling you, this is where I'm at, Siva. I got Isak. I have Watkins. I have Mateta. I'm going to sell one of them for a striker who has a forward who has a double game week. I don't want Haaland. Don't really want Jackson. Although I think he is probably going to be my transfer in. Nico Jack. But give me one other name, Siva. Come on, you can do it.
I mean, hipsters will tell you go João Pedro, but they would be wrong, basically, is what I would say to you.
We
I don't
double
see.
Newcastle and get like Wilson.
I don't mind that. I mean, that's the spice that I can tolerate. Yeah, I don't mind Callum Wilson. I think that's a spicy pick.
I do like spice.
Callum Wilson, inevitable goal scorer. He's going to score. I mean, it's just a question of how many goals, how many minutes.
Before he gets injured.
It's a
How
countdown
many
to his
goals
goal
can
and then
he
a countdown to
score
his hamstring.
before he gets injured, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So he's got to pull his hamstring against United, but before that, he should have already scored 2 goals, I think. Yeah, Callum Wilson, I don't mind. And
2
he'll be
goals.
back
I
on
don't know.
pen.
Two is a lot, Siva. I think from his track record, he's only ever scores like 1 goal a game.
He's going to be back on pens because Isak missed. So Wilson's going to say, give me the next one.
Okay. All right. If not Wilson, anyone else? Anyone?
You
At
could
all?
go João Pedro, and that's basically it.
Rest
That's your only
Haaland.
other viable pick. Haaland, you're not even. Let's be serious, mate. You're not going to take Haaland.
And Werner's injured, so you can't even go there, right?
As if you were going to go. Nah, there's nobody else. Unfortunately, it's quite annoying. It's not even a theoretical pick, right? You can't pick Alvarez, not secure. You can't pick Haaland because he plays for United. And João Pedro is the only other guy. And I just don't like this double. I really don't see it as a great double for Brighton.
Maybe I'll go with a 4-5-1. And just have Isak.
I would be impressed if you can find 4 good defenders this week, Sam.
If I don't have Haaland, I can actually double up on a City defender and get Guardiola and Walker, something like that.
That's possibly the most stupid thing I've ever heard.
By you saying that, it makes me want to do it even more, Siva.
There's no upside. Like, you want to have a City defender.
2 clean sheets and 2 attacking returns. You know, Walker.
Who is No, mate. I mean, Gvardiol's the only guy who's getting attacking returns at this moment. No way could you.
No, Walker has. Kinda. Here and there.
No, I mean, there are Hail Marys and then there's whatever this is.
Okay. All right. Fair. So, captaincy. This is the interesting one. I would think most people will captain Haaland if they have Haaland.
Because they're boring and basic, yeah.
Yeah, because they're boring and basic. Spicier picks. I'll give you the merits of each of them, right? First, if you want another forward, captaining Isak, I think is actually a really good option because he's so consistently scoring in almost every game. Haul potential is there. Last week if he didn't miss the pen, if he scored, then it would have been a big haul last week. So haul potential, consistent, guaranteed minutes, differential. Isak, captain. Sounds good. You got Cole Palmer, who has the most double-digit highest ceiling of any player who's here, next to Haaland, maybe. But this season, maybe even more than Haaland. Captain on Cole Palmer, nice double game week. Very tempting. Very tempting. You could go Foden, I think. I think if you want to be differential, but you don't want to stray too far from City because you're convinced City is going to do well, I think a Foden captaincy might be good, actually, as well. Nice differential from people who have Haaland. Bruno is purely like Man United bias. But Siva, if he can recapture his form from before the injury, right? Where he scored like 15 against Bournemouth and 18 against Sheffield. Now, granted, they aren't playing Bournemouth and Sheffield this week. But still, double game week Bruno, thing of a legend. You don't like it, but United fans, I'm sure there are some United fans listening who I am helping the gears turn in their head, and they're like, maybe Sam is right. Maybe Bruno could be a good captaincy option.
So who's your guy, Sam?
Lastly, I haven't decided. But lastly, Son. I was going to say Son. Actually, I think also can be explosive in his day. First playing Burnley at home, then playing against City at home as well. City tough game, but Son can score against big teams. He score against Arsenal, score against Liverpool. So, yeah, those are the options. A lot of options. It's tough. Right now, it's probably gonna be either Palmer or Isak for me. Triple captain, by the way. So I have to get this right, And if I can get it right, Siva, it would hopefully make up for, against the people who are bench boosting. Now, the best way actually to make it right is to captain someone who no one else has. That's the hard part though, because my team is kind of template. I don't like it, but it is.
No need, mate. No need. It's right there.
Yeah. Maybe triple captain Madueke. But other than that, yeah, I think that runs through all the options, right? Give good cases for everyone, I would say.
I will say that a proper triple captaincy can change your season. Like everyone knows, FPL tactician Andy Martin, who's this popular account on Twitter, and he captained triple captain KDB again for that haul against Wolves, where he scored like 4 goals. So most people didn't even have KDB.
I
Yeah,
did.
you
I
gotta pick
captained
your
him, I
moments.
remember. I didn't triple
You
captain,
did,
but
you
still
did.
captain. Yeah, which was great.
Yeah.
It's great. A triple captain on a player that is lowly owned. That would be the dream. Yeah. So is that it, Siva? Is that it for this week's episode? Who are you gonna captain?
Haaland, I think I'm pretty basic, but I
Ah.
may
Come
go
on, Siva. I
Madueke
expected
just
better
to,
from you, man.
I may go Madueke if I really have a few drinks, maybe.
Because you're still chasing the high that you got from having Semenyo, aren't you?
I am. It's quite
Junkie.
addictive. Yeah. I need that. I need that again. Okay, I think that's us for this week, right?
In the second season of playing FPL, I captained Lukaku playing for Everton in like the last game week and won our mini league. And since then, I've been chasing differential captaincy highs, man, for like the past 8 years. All because of that one day of captaining. Yeah. And I remember they played United, I think. It was a game where it finished like 4-3 and Lukaku scored a hat-trick or some ridiculous thing like that. Since then, I've been chasing that high.
I captained, I think, Giroud for like a game week 38 hat trick against Villa. And same like you, that high sticks with you, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll revert next week with our captaincy differential hauls. But in the meantime,
Get your green arrows, guys, and we'll see you next week for our final episode of the season. Cheers and bye.